early winter's day. But after the last couple of days where the top temperature was about 13 degrees Celsius, today, oh, it's positively tropical. 17 degrees is the maximum today. That being said, it's cold. It's cold, cold, cold. Hello, agave. Hello, agave pups. They're still there. But not for very much longer. Emily, hello. Holy shit, it's cold. Hopefully when I get into the sun it'll get a bit better. I am wearing a hoodie that I had on when I was at home and I got too hot in it. So I put it back on thinking I'd be snug as a bug. But yeah, it's cold. How you doing? What's news, Groover? Oh, I was thinking I can't wait till I can start going for little drives to beaches and places that we haven't been. I was wondering if me just going for the same walks, although they're always a little bit different, but I was thinking I might like start razzing things up a little bit. Soon we can. I'm going for a walk with my sister on Saturday and she was like, I'm happy for you to go live on YouTube. Don't you dare put me on the camera. I was like, I won't put you on at all. We're not going to go live when we're walking. We've got things to talk about. Oh shit, hang on, just dropped my smoothie. Oh, cold is it? I got excited today because every morning I ask my little Google Nest what the weather is going to be. And it was like a maximum of 17 and I was like, you beauty. Because we've had maximums of 12 for the last few days. Be interesting if I can see Mount Wellington if there's snow on it, because it feels like it. Luckily, actually, my sleeves have got g'day Aussie, Kangaroo, g'day. My sleeves have got the little thumb holey things, so I'm just putting my thumbs through because that does make a difference. I do love these tops that have the thumb holes, although I was wearing one when I was cooking one day and someone said to me, you need to learn how to darn your clothing. You've got a hole in your sleeve. And it was like, there's a hole in both sleeves, you fucker. It's a thumb hole for warmth and snuggliness. I thought we could talk today about international travel. And how we all feel about that, because we've got Australia and New Zealand proposing what they're calling a travel bubble. So when the snarky little COVID-19 has chilled the fuck out a bit more, they're proposing a bit of thumb holey things. Quite a few surfers and paddleboarders out today. Not a huge swell. That sun is very nice. It's a brisk old day here today, but the sun is certainly helping. Although my little fingies are a bit cold. I've got a beanie on. It is a lovely day, Kanga. It is lovely. It's pretty, but it's brisk, man. So I've got like full length Dax on because normally I wear my yoga pants at a 3/4 length and my little ankles will be getting cold. And then I've got my hoodie on with my little thummy holy thingies. I've got my smoothie. I've made a blueberry spinach. I've made a green smoothie with blueberries in it. And peanut butter for oil and flavour. And some ice and some vanilla extract. You're probably not going to go overseas at the end of the year, coming back from Philippines. You were lucky. Hey, Aussie Trisha Outlaw. How you doing? Good to see you, gorgeous. Oh, these decks are falling down. Now I'm remembering why I haven't been wearing them, because of the weight loss. They don't stay up. I mean, they're not down around my ankles. Don't freak out, but just got to tug them up a bit. Yeah, you were lucky, Aussie. And it sounds like you had COVID-19 too, or something sinister. You should get a blood test, actually, because I was reading yesterday that blood tests tell you if you've had it or not. I don't know if you donate blood or anything like that, but you should, if you do, ask them to check it out. That's my friend Susan filling me in on my god monster Kevin McTurd. Yes, I'm a godmother to a cat called Kevin McTurd. An honour, an absolute fucking honour. He's on Facebook. If anyone wants to follow Kevin McTurd, politician, find him. I love it, because when my brother was Premier, I had to be really careful what I said on my Facebook page. So Susan and I started a page for Kevin, and she posts photos with captions, and then I respond to people on there as Kevin McTurd. There's quite a few folk on the beach. And I loved it, because I had to be so careful what I could say on my own Facebook page, but as Kevin McTurd, I could be really rude, because it would come up under his name. So if I needed to vent or let out some frustration, I'd just go to Kev's page and give people shit. And people joined it and love it and comment so that they get abused by him, which is also funny. How you doing? I just walked past a couple of women, one of whom is in all black with a shitload of bling, like even to her handbag. She's walking on the beach with a handbag. Doesn't smell a local to me, but anyway, she's blinged up, man. Blinged sunnies, blinged jewels, and a leopard skin backpack. Yeah, Kevin McTurd. The secret boyfriend of Biscuit Boomba. Well, not secret. Biscuit's very blatant in her undying love for Kevin McTurd. But yeah, he's funny. Find him on the Facebook. And then if you comment, I'll abuse the fuck out of you. But it was such a great outlet for me when I had to be so well behaved on my own page. Alright, can't see any snow on top of Mount Wellington, but it certainly has been cold enough to snow, and it certainly smells like snow. There's a definite it's gonna snow smell. Like, it's not a bad one. Smell always sounds bad. Stop and smell the roses, but smell, I don't know. I suppose because it's also used as that smells gross, or that's a gross smell. But yeah, travel. So I was doing I was recording my show for print radio yesterday, which is volunteering that I do, and print radio are a radio station for the visually impaired. And I really love doing it. It's such a lovely altruistic volunteering role. But one of the stories was about international travel, and you know, hey, look at all these shells. Oh, you're cooking a barbie for lunch. Nice. Actually, you've just reminded me, I've got to get a gas bottle. I want to do a roast chook on the barbie. But my gas, I bought a gas connection at the start of the year and hooked it all up, and had a barbie on my birthday. I mean, this is back in January. And then I used the barbie again a few times. And then I went to crank it up yesterday, and there's been a leak. I hadn't I hadn't switched the bottle off and the fucking thing's empty. So yeah, and I also want to top up the one for my, or get another one for my, the heater on my deck. I think I'll get the guy that put in my hydronic heating to come back and put in 2 gas lines out to the deck so that the heater can be hardwired in as well. Or not hardwired, but like just hooked up, because I've got a huge gas tank for my heating. I'm kind of sick of slugging gas bottles. What are you going to do on your Barbie? Hey, Robin. Yeah, this beach is so lush. I mean, this is my front yard. We're walking right down to the end to Carlton River. Going for a long stroll today because so I was doing this story about international travel, and there is the proposed travel bubble between Australia and New Zealand, which I think is really cool because I actually would love to explore New Zealand more, and I've got some beautiful friends there. But Fiji has also said they would like to be considered in the bubble, and so has Indonesia, but only in areas where COVID-19 is kind of under control. So Bali is one, but beyond that, I think the current thinking is there won't be international travel until 2023. Spicy continental snags on the buddy. Nice. Nice. Ozzy, are you going to do any sides? Oh shit, I just opened my smoothie and it's just gone all over my phone. Uh-oh. I'm just wiping some of my smoothie jizz. Mercedes girl, hello. Yeah, 2023 Oz. Oh, this smoothie is delicious. So it's coconut cream, just a little bit, milk, ice, frozen blueberries, peanut butter and spinach. Oh, and vanilla extract. It's delicious. It's all yumbo. Onions and baby tomatoes, delicious. Yeah, beach is looking pretty sexy today, Renee. I mean, look at it. Stunning, but we're heading down to Carlton River. I've got 84% battery, so hopefully I won't end it and make it look like I fell over like the other day. I worked out what was going on too, how it was still live. I hadn't shut out of Streamlabs. No, I hadn't shut out of YouTube. Because what I do is I set up the live on YouTube. But because I've got under 1,000 subs, I can't go live on YouTube. And then I use Streamlabs for when I'm on the strolly bit. So even though I'd shut out of Streamlabs, well, my phone went flat when I was on the beach. But the YouTube channel was still broadcasting. Interesting shit, right? So how does everyone feel about that? If, morning, I think it's afternoon now actually. About international travel, I mean, I've travelled a lot and it's a huge part of who I am. But I've also travelled a lot around Australia and lived in parts of Australia other than Tassie. And I've also travelled a lot around Tassie. But there's still so much of Tassie for me to explore as well. So I'm kind of okay with it. I sort of feel that some of the countries... I mean, the only thing I'm really bummed about is this year I was going to Japan, because that's on my must-go-to list still. But that's the only place I've got left. Which doesn't mean I would stop travelling after I went to Japan. I was certainly contemplating exploring Europe in my later years. I've always seen Europe as a golden years holiday destination for some reason. I've been to the UK. But, you know, I think if we all start exploring where we live more and put our hard-earned money into local tourism, it's got to be a good thing. It's almost like we're back in the era where if you did want to travel, you could only go by boat, and it'd take you 3 months to get to England. But I was curious to see how people feel about it. Like, does it bother you? Do you not give a shit? I'm hoping they rewind the 2023 thing, but the problem is with COVID-19 is because it's highly contagious, it just takes one little fucker to, I shouldn't say that, not everyone who's spread it's been a little fucker, but it just takes one person on a plane and that whole plane is fucked again. It's a little backpacking coronavirus. And also, even though there's talk of vaccines, I'm not convinced that there will necessarily be a vaccine anytime soon. Just from the scientists and medical nerds I follow on YouTube and read about. So, I don't know. New Zealand's where you wanted to go next. Anyways, you're okay with it. Aussies might see their own country properly rescue our tourist economy. I agree. No way it can't be till 20. That's the date. That did come out a few weeks ago. Maybe 2 weeks ago. And a few friends and I were all like, oh well, okay, fuck-a-doodle-doo. I mean, I was meant to be in Hawaii at Easter, but I cancelled my plans to go there back in January because I'd just been to Torquay in Victoria, and when I got back to Tullamarine and saw half the people there were wearing face masks, I was like, I think this virus could be a little bit more serious than us all just posting Corona beer memes and gifs. And I can't tell you how happy I was to get home. But yeah, I cancelled my plans because I was just like, even though it was off in April, I was like, I might just leave this trip for a while and see what happens. And then the plans for Japan were already a bit tricky because Japan was meant to have the Olympics this year. And I had people saying, don't go there during an Olympics year, it'll be a nightmare. But I wasn't actually going to be in Tokyo. I was going to be out in the mountains. So I was still planning on going. You do have places in the world you have to be. You do. The common cold's from the coronavirus family and they're still working on a vaccine. Exactly. It is a notoriously hard nut to crack, more so than other viruses. Exactly. And also Kanga, the little mutating versions of it. So even if they are working right now on COVID-19, say there's a little COVID-20 mutation, that's already ahead of them. Like, it's kind of already it's like when you buy, you know, a car, or not a car maybe, but you buy a new phone, that technology is already outdated. So all this work on the COVID-19 vaccine, there's already mutations are happening as well. I mean, it'd be interesting to see with cruise ships, because they're operating again. if people, and they're operating at bloody dirt cheap prices, it'll be interesting to see if people start taking a cruise and then jumping ship in a port where they would rather be. Like a cruise ship's going to sort of become the way to get around this international travel lockdown. Or are they only going to be travelling within their own countries? Like the Ruby Princess that I'm covering on my other channel, Smooth Criminal Podcast channel on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber, get over there. Episode 31 went up this morning. Crimes involving horses. Slightly more savoury topic than last week's crimes involving poo. And I'm not joking. There are a shitload of crimes about poo. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, I've got to keep hiking up my dacks. Hang on, if I pull them up a bit higher from further down, maybe that'll help the situation. Yo, cruise ships, like, wouldn't that be interesting if they kind of became... Oh, yeah, the Ruby Princess, right. So the Ruby Princess is setting sail on its next cruise after being responsible for the biggest number of COVID-19 cases in Australia and 22 deaths. In fact, I listened to the CoronaCast podcast this morning, and there's another person who I think has tested positive in New South Wales that they're saying is linked to the Ruby Princess. Like, that ship docked on the 19th of March. Like, does that mean that that person has had an incubating version of COVID-19 and they're only symptomatic now? How can these... I mean, there was a death only a week ago that was directly linked to the Ruby Princess. Like, have these people been really sick for a really long time? Almost every time it transfers, it mutates ever so slightly. It's one way the government traces people, the contact links. Yeah, the major mutations. I know, fucking cruise ships. But you think about it. Say, Aussie Outlaw. I'm using you as an example. Now, Australia, because we're not opening our international borders for a long time, it seems, this theory is not great. But let's take the person overseas who you're planning to visit. Let's say they are able to, and this is all completely hypothetical, but they're able to jump on a cruise that's going from the US to New Zealand. And Australia and New Zealand have lifted restrictions, and that little travel bubble now exists. As painful as it would be to have to endure a cruise ship that's set sail from the US to New Zealand, how many fucking days that would be, I don't know, but it'd be a shitload. But that person could jump off in New Zealand and then jump on a plane to Australia from the New Zealand bubble. Ka-ching! G'day, Aussie. Angela, hello, gorgeous. Like, that's a theory, you know. Is that what is going to happen? She's in Queensland, right, and a 10-week incubation. See? Creepy shit right there. You have your hands full to chat, but you're listening. Well, it's lovely to have you with us. No, I wouldn't. Look, I never wanted to touch a cruise ship even before COVID-19. And yeah, the current outbreak in WA from a cargo ship with infected crew, which is insane. I was going to cover that a little bit on my Ruby, who is the person on the cruise. Just a fictitious woman with ballerina legs, I guess. I don't know. You can insert whoever you want into that hypothetical, Aussie. Yeah, I was going to have a look at that ship and include it in an episode of the Wreck of the Ruby Princess on the Smooth Criminal podcast channel on YouTube. Plug. But I'm kind of reluctant to, because it was a fucking live export ship, and I'm scared if I touch it, I won't be able to hold back on live export ships. So, I don't know. I don't want to upset the live export YouTube community, because I reckon they'd be pretty fucking hardcore. Way more hardcore than the YouTube true crime community or the YouTube drama community. You know, I took on now I've forgotten what they're called, the NRA on Twitter about 18 months ago, the gun mob, the pro-gun mob in America. Holy shit. Oh, yeah. COVID-19's good. They can't get to me now, despite their threats. I did say legs. Exactly. Cruise ships are a festy mess for virus transmission. I'm hoping... Well, I wanted it to be the end of the cruise ship. I thought maybe they could have just used them as little floating hospitals and pop people out on them. Look, I don't know. If people are into cruising, go for it. I feel vindicated, because I've always been so vocal and opinionated and negative about cruise ships. And now it's like, oh, what about those cruise ships? And people are like, yeah, right, fucking awful. So, I feel vindicated. Lovable Rogue, hello, how are you? There's a lady in Queensland who returned to Australia from India 2 months ago who also tested positive this week. Yeah, I read about her too. And I was actually, when I read about her, I was a bit jealous, because India is, not that it's on my must-go-to, well, it sort of is actually. Japan and India were my two really, really, really desperate to go to places. The NRA, yeah, they actually ended up, I ended up in a bit of a slanging match with them, but they ended up being quite reasonable, because they realised I wasn't being a wanker and saying, you should do what Australia did regarding guns, because look at us, we have very few murders involving guns. The sort of standard Aussie line that you see people talking about, like they go into American chat groups and basically tell America that they should be doing what Australia did. Well, my attitude's always been it's too late for America in that regard, because they are very passionate about their guns. It's a constitutional right. So you can't have a right to bear arms in your constitution and then just go, actually, we're putting a big fat fucking line through it. So in terms of the states, I've never pushed for them to go down the gun control road, because it's pointless when you've got more guns than people in the country, and they've rightfully owned guns under the rights in their constitution. My attitude has always been they've got to look at better regulation, stricter controls in terms of who can actually have a gun, and don't make bullets fucking accessible in supermarket aisles. They ramp up the number of gun-free zones, but actually have armed guards arming the gun-free zones. And I know that sounds silly, but have a look at that mass shooting where he went nuts in a Walmart store because it was a gun-free zone and the guards couldn't carry guns. So they kind of ended up being a bit more reasonable with me, because they could see that I wasn't pushing for gun control. But they also assumed as soon as they worked out I was Australian that that was my attitude, and that fucks me off. It's like, I'm happy to get into an intelligent discussion with you, but let's start with a clean slate, no assumptions, and see what happens. You used to love cruising, Kangaroo, wouldn't go again after this. Great. I just stopped to read chat and this group of 5 people all just stopped within a foot of me. What the fuck is wrong with people? Like, seriously. Have a look at all the space on the beach, yeah? So, unbeknownst to me, there's a group of people walking behind me. And as soon as I stopped, they all stopped and started chatting. And they're standing... I mean, not that I'm paranoid I'm going to get COVID-19. We don't have any positive cases down where I am. But what the fuck? It's like when you go to a cinema and it's virtually empty and you're on your own, treating yourself to a movie on your own. That's one of the greatest luxuries in life, I reckon. Well, it used to be. And some fucker comes and sits next to you, or a couple. Like, you've got the whole cinema. Don't sit with me. Go away. When I lived in Bondi in winter, the beach was not empty, but it was way quieter than it is in summer. And we'd be sitting down there with our fish and chips, and fuckers would come and sit right next to us. And they had great expanse of open beach. I've said it from the start, if the best thing that came out of this was the death of or the end of personal space invaders, it could only be a good thing. I just had 5 fuckers invade my personal space. They're not social distancing. Maybe they're a household. That's fine. But stay the fuck away from me, motherfuckers. Right. Now they're back down the beach a little. What have I missed? I did just call myself a wanker. Yeah, a few things probably. Tighter regulation. Hey, Will. I hope you didn't walk in when I... Yeah, Will's just probably heard me swearing all those F-bombs, lovable rogue, as the gentleman Will arrives. But yeah, Kangaroo, what is that about? What is it about? What's the deal with people that... I mean, I can't stand your personal space about it. You know, when you're at a party or you're in a shop and people that are just way too close. Even like, you know, at a checkout or whatever. Back the fuck off. Never liked it. Never. Some people are just way too close. But, you know, I was thinking, oh, this social distancing stuff could be teaching people a little bit about how to give people some fucking space. I mean, I live in Tassie. It's got the landmass of England, the size of England's land. Only 500,000 people living here. Like, I live here because, hello, space. All the space. Yeah, they're shit, aren't they, lovable rogue? Yeah, ISO has been so good for avoiding people. So good. I've got to dust off my t-shirt, the one that says people, we're not that great actually. Start wearing that again. But it's been lovely being away from people. But the people that I love, that I miss like crazy, I can't wait to see them again. There's so much breathing down your neck. Yeah, the cider. I mean, the beauty. One of the other beauties of COVID-19 is that we can actually say to people now, could you please step back a little bit? You're in my face. And we've actually got a reason, which pisses me off. You should never have needed a reason to just ask people to respect your space. But now at least we can kind of go, social distancing's still a thing. How about you distance yourself from me? Is that a good idea? Oh shit, Bazza and Shazza. Haven't seen one seagull down here today. There's a lot of dogs. That could be why. Let's keep an eye out for those slugs. I'm so sorry, Will. I've been venting and swearing a lot. You're such a gentleman. You can time me out if you want. Imagine that. Has any creator... I don't think you can. But that's the sort of shit I'd live for on YouTube, is seeing a mod timing out the creator. It'd be funny. I mean, you'd only be timed out from participating in chat. I've been known to look them in the eye and say their face is personal space, they usually back off. I have asked a few people to back off and I've been given the stink eye from them, and it's like, you are unknown to me. I can smell your breath, you are disgusting. Don't give me the side eye, you are virtually stepping on my feet. Fuck off. Back off. But the other thing is, even though we now do have, you know, social distancing as a justification for it, guaranteed the personal space invader will also be the person who goes, you bought into the governmental fear-mongering. It's no worse than the flu. I swear to God, if any people on my Facebook page, and there's been a few, but if any more of them put on there that it is not as bad as the flu, I swear to God, not only am I going to kick them off my page, which I've really loved doing, the closet racists that outed themselves during this, that's been a delight, getting rid of them. But yeah, I swear to God, the next fucker who says it's not as bad as the flu, I'm going to hold an online YouTube party and name and shame them. It's perfectly okay to vent. It is, and that's why beach walks are great. It's actually getting so warm now, I'm thinking of taking my hoodie off. I do have a t-shirt on, don't freak out. Hang on. I'm just going to stick in the mud for a second. Hang on. No, you might have to just look at the sky for a sec. Oh no, sorry, you're looking at my drink bottle. I need some more of my smoothie too. Okay. Just sorting this out. I'm going to wrap this around my waist. How's my day been? It's been lovely, lovable road. It's been really good. It's been great. Thank you for asking. Howdy. I'm not venting because I'm in a bad mood. The chat just cracks me up and then I get all fired up. It's fun. But no, I've been good. I've spent all day yesterday recording my podcast episode and also print radio, like the whole day and then well into the evening. And my arm my mouse arm from editing, I've got like a little twitch happening, and I had to record 3 stories this morning for print radio as well. And I just wanted to get up and go for a walk and stretch my arms and legs. Groovy shoes. They're my shitty old beach shoes. How do they know it's not? We know very little about this virus. It acts differently. Exactly, and it isn't like the flu at all. At all. I mean, the people that are saying that... Hang on, I'm just having some of my smoothie. I've barely had a sip and it's lunchtime. That's why I grabbed a smoothie for my stroll. I was going to say, I don't want to start drinking it when it's warm. It's still got a bit of ice flavour in it. Not flavour, but chill in it. But it's nothing like the flu. I mean, yeah, some people have had very little symptoms, but if you watch a 3-minute video of anyone who's survived it, usually in the first minute of that video, at first I thought it was like a flu, and then I realised it was way, way worse. So that's the one aspect of people comparing it to the flu that give me the shits. And then the other part, are the people that say, a guy with a dog just walked past me who looked almost identical to Jude Law. Who are you and why are you not in my bedroom? Oh, that's right, fucking social distancing. The other flu people, more people died of the flu in Australia last year than COVID-19. Okay, fuckers. Look, Australia's actually done really good at not getting completely rammed up the clacker at the moment with COVID-19, which doesn't mean to say it's not going to happen. It still could. But let's go to the US of A and look at the statistics for people who've died from flu and compare it to COVID-19. No, how about we don't? Firstly, the statistic for how many people have died for the flu last year has absolutely nothing to do with the statistic for COVID-19, which has only been on a path of destruction for 4 or 5 months. But if you look at the States, at least 4 weeks ago, the number of people who've died from COVID-19 has well exceeded the annual number of people who've died from the flu. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. And let's compare annual figures when COVID-19's had a year to frolic on this planet. I don't know. I've always known human beings are capable of idiocy, but the ones that are debating science really flip my tip. What's that? What did Robin Banks? Oh, Robin Banks. How many have you robbed? Plenty. Do you know I know another Robin Banks? I know 2 Robin Bankses. What are the odds of that? Sometimes on YouTube I'll see the name of someone. I'm trying to think, there's another person. What's her name? Christy. And it's spelt the exact same way. Shit, why can't I think of my friend Christy's surname? Andrews. There's a girl on YouTube, Christy Andrews, and it's Kristi, which is a really unusual spelling. Pardon me, I'm burping. This smoothie is making me burpy. So there's a Christy Andrews, and I know a Christy Andrews, and it's such an unusual spelling. And so when I saw this chick in a YouTube channel, I was like, hey, Christy, is that you? And this girl was like, well, what do you mean, is it me? Yeah, it's me. Who are you? And I was like, okay, it's not her. She's fake. She never ever robbed a bank. Well, while we're on fake, Aussie, what was your last outlaw activity? Yeah, and there's a Robin with a Y as well. The one that I know is the same spelling as you, Robin. Really highly acclaimed, super intelligent Tasmanian woman who writes really nice things on my Facebook page. Mutations are the thing to watch. Even seasonal flu mutates every year. Yes, that's right. But each year when we get the flu shot, it's not redundant, but it's very unlikely it's going to protect you from whatever strain's going to go around that year. Hello, aren't you beautiful? Do you want me to throw your ball? Do you want me to throw your ball? Here you go. Bad throw. You're a way better thrower than me. Lady Pegasus, hello gorgeous. You stole Seeing Eye Dog charity collection bins, you bastard Aussie. One of my mates who should have become one of the best known comedians in Australia and never did, which sucks because he's so talented. A guy called Dave Williams, who was originally from Adelaide, lives in Melbourne, or he might be in Sydney now actually. But he used to do a joke about the charity guide dogs and like the collection dogs. And he's like, so I was at the supermarket, went out the front, saw the rides, jumped on its back, stuck in my 20 cents, fucking nothing. Bloody Labrador ride, nothing happened. And this bogan walked past and said, "You stupid fuck, those are for the blind." And Dave replied, "You dickhead, even blind people would know it's not working." Anyway, I love it. He's funny. That puppy was sweet. You should have seen... Did you see my piss weak ball throw though? Went about 20 feet max, maybe 30 with a bounce. It was very slobbery. Your ocean looks nice and calm today. It is. Oh shit, man. Now I've got green smoothie on my white t-shirt, so it looks like I've got snot or baby vomit on my top. Trust me, the ocean looks better than I do. Still rough. And face masks have been washing up from the ship that lost some of its cargo. Oh fuck. Can you go grab them and wash them and sell them? Lady P, go see it, Lady P. So we're right up at the Carlton River in Grievers. I needed a good walk. I've got to go back and do some job applications. It's like writing an essay for like when I was studying law. So detailed and full on. I've had a really weird brown mosquito on my arm, which I'm a bit worried about because some people have caught Ross River down here. Like in this area, not in this particular spot that I'm in. But that was like almost a rangamozzie. It was kind of odd looking. I don't think it got much out of me, so hopefully it's not a Ross River spreading mozzie. I don't know how long it was hitchhiking on my arm for. What's the Tori for? The washing and selling the masks. You know that I'm joking. It's a problem. I mean, I'm hoping you know. I offend people that don't get dry humour or tongue-in-cheek or even just a bit of sardonic humour. Not saying you, Lady Pegasus, but after a comment that was left on under one of my videos a week or two ago where they claimed anything they said on my channel was funny, even though after a while I was like, oh, stop punching, I'm not a punching bag. But then I was cited back a few comments that I made and what an asshole I was for making them, and every single one of them was a joke. So it's like, okay, so you can come onto a light entertainment comedy channel and everything you say is silly, even flirting with my married friend and wondering what she's wearing and all that sort of shit. That's all fine. But you're on my channel and I'm sarcastic, dry, sardonic, wry, tongue-in-cheek, and you take every joke literally and decide I'm an absolute pig for the things that I've said. How does that work? Look at that. This is Carlton River, which is a shark sanctuary. How you doing?
Really? Is it?
Yeah, there's a little shark nursery here, just gummies.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Great.
There you go. Bit of trivia. Bit of education. It's also a tidal river. And if you don't know what they are, generally speaking, even though it looks pretty and calm, Swimming in them, not great. They've got massive whirlpools under them. I mean, it's pretty calm day to day, but there's an undertow in tidal rivers that can drown you very quickly. It is beautiful. I've got to hold my shit. If that mosquito's on top of my head biting through my beanie, this mosquito's a determined little prick. Something just bit me on my head, and I've got a beanie on. So what I'm going to do is pull up my Dax and take off my sneakers for the walk back. Earwigging, what's that? What is earwigging? Oh, it's a bit close. G'day. Just so you know, it's me. But yeah, I'm going to flip this around again. So beautiful. And you said that right when I flipped this around. I think you were talking about the view. So I'll put it back there. Oh, hang on. What's earwigging? I mean, I know what an earwig is. But what's earwigging? Is that like teabagging? What is it? Just trying to get myself organised here. I'm taking my shoes off. Where did that woman go? It's like she's vanished. It's like she never existed. Where's the woman gone that I told her about the shark thing? Hopefully she's around there. But isn't it calm? Isn't it beautiful? A lot of people paint this river mouth because it's so pretty. Beautiful beanie. G'day, not imposter Tori. Huh? I'm just cruising back up. You know, I know you do get my humorous, funny bones, lovable rogue. Where's Lady Pegasus gone though? Hope she didn't leave. Oh wait, she's saying a Chinese ship heading back there with supplies going to attempt to dock the ship at Brisbane to assess. Oh, there you go. How's Precious Biscuit doing? She's great. She's probably pissed off with me right now because I'm not there entertaining her. Chinese taking our PPE supplies again. Huh? I don't think I think we've given them to them. We've sold them to them or whatever. Because they just sent a shitload back to Australia. I'm all for it being sent all over the world wherever they need it the most, to be honest. Every country's PPE supplies were not adequate for this. But I still think, hang on a sec. And I might have an unpopular view, I don't know. Wait a minute, I've just got to hike up my Dax. Maybe my view's unpopular, but I'm happy for supplies to go where they're most needed. There's no point in us having, you know, shitloads when we don't even have a law here to wear them or anything like that. And maybe that's going to come, but I know they did send a shitload back to us not that long ago as well. Plastic bags about 10 in each. Yeah, now what's earwigging? Oh, listening in on you. Thanks, Lady P. Beetlejuice. What the fuck? She went swimming. What woman? I never saw a woman. Earwigs are freaky insects. I'm with Will on that one. You are here. Good, Lady Pegasus. How do they keep people from fishing in the river? Protected the sharks. Well, they don't. People do fish in this river. And especially people that have shacks further up. Now there's someone coming along with a bike. Maybe it's her. Maybe she rode up this end, walked down and back and is right. I don't know. People do fish, but if you catch a gummy shark, you throw it back. Earwig. Someone. Yeah, I've never heard that expression before. I know, we say eavesdropping. That's the word we use here. Never heard of earwigging. You learn something new every day. But earwigs are weird, and how did they get their name? Because they're not like shaped like an ear that's wearing a wig. And they're not known for perching on top of your ear like a little wig or a little toupee. Serenity Bee, how gorgeous. How are you doing, gorgeous? What are you cooking today? I'm just drinking my smoothie because I thought I was being so good taking my lunch with me, and I've pretty much walked the length of the beach without having much of it at all. Because they crawl in your ears. But what's the wig reference then? Because I don't wear wigs. G'day.
How are you?
Good. That was my friends Jackie and Mark. That's what I love about this place. There's like 10 people on the beach. And I still bump into my friends, who live here by the way, they're not imposters. Okay, so I've taken off my jacket. Now there's a little bit of wind chill. It's a bit fresh and my bare feet are a little bit cold walking on the damp sand, but you know what? I can always have a hot shower when I get home. Isn't that the best thing? You know, when you've been camping, or you've been to the beach, you've been out fishing, you're cold. Does she really need to wear a stag hat on the beach? I wouldn't. But those showers that you have when you're really, really grubby or really, really cold, you know, the little things that give us so much happiness. And I think self-isolation is making people remember that stuff. You know, like a really nice hot cup of coffee can be the best thing in the world right now. Whereas before, not that we took it for granted, but we just forgot how good it was. Braised pork. Oh, a new recipe. Nice. You're off to the beach later with your granddaughters. That'll be fun, lovable rogue. That'll be fun. I've got to say, like, I mean, the beach has always been my happy place and it's always been my sanity and my antidepressant. And, but I've got to say, during this self-isolation thing, the people that love beaches, that don't live really close to beaches and still can't go to them, I really feel for them because I know how therapeutic a beach walk can be. So I am looking forward to restrictions being lifted so people that can't physically get to a beach because they just don't live close enough, but they're beach people. And the people that have got shacks that want to start visiting their shacks again and having a little breather down here away from their home in town or wherever. But the fuckers in Tassie that are complaining, now that we're in stage 1 of lifting restrictions and you can go for a hike as long as it's within 30 k's of where you live. Have a look at Mount Wellington over there, right? There are so many amazing walks on that mountain. There's like day walks, there's overnight ones that you can't do at the moment, but there's day walks, there's a couple of hour walks, even a 1 hour walk. Probably 300-400 walks on that mountain. And most of the people in southern Tasmania live within 30 k's of it. And they lifted the restrictions and people are whinging going, oh, but I want to go to Cradle Mountain and that's more than 30 kilometres. Like, walk on the mountain. Go on Mount Wellington. Stop whinging because you're making me whinge a lot. You know what I mean? What is wrong with people? What's that saying? You know, you give them an inch and they'll take a mile. Be grateful that we're in stage 1. Be grateful you can now go for a hike as long as it's within 30 k's, 30 kilometres of where you live. Like, look at this place. Have a look at it. Like, it doesn't matter where you live here. You do not have to go more than 30 kilometres away from where you live to see something beautiful. What is wrong with people? So, international travel. Any of you up for it? Because you can't. for a long time. I hope you do as much venting as I've been doing, Lovable Rogue. You'll feel better. But yeah, the COVID-19 has, we've been saying it for how many months now on these walks. It's going to bring out the best in people and it's going to bring out the worst. But I gotta say, I totally underestimated the worst. I didn't realise how low some people were going to go. Exactly, Will. There's so much to be thankful for. Speaking of your family, how's your brother-in-law doing? How's he doing? See, Will's got a family member who's got COVID-19. That's something genuine that if people were a little bit, and Will's not, but if people were a little bit upset / angry and said a few things that were a little bit out of line, but they're also stressed to the fuck about a family member who's got COVID-19, I don't mind that. Go for it. It's important to express any emotions you're feeling when you've got a sick family member. I have no issue with that. I'm talking about privileged shithead Tasmanians. And when I say privileged, I'm not saying necessarily wealthy, but privileged in that we live in this amazing place. Privileged that COVID-19, yes, there has been 13 deaths here, but there hasn't been 1,300 or 13,000. So maybe hike within 30 kilometres of your home for the next 4 weeks, explore where you live a little bit more, and then celebrate that you can even do that. You know what I mean? I'm sure you all do. I'm not saying anything you guys wouldn't already think, because you're all really cool people. Hang on, I'm just gonna... That was seriously cute. 2 really young mums with little babies in little, I don't know what they're called. Is it baby Bjorns? No, or is that the doll? No, the baby Bjorns are the ones that you wear, aren't they? These little rosy-cheeked Tasmanian babies in little beanies. That was pretty cute. We're living in the age of entitlement these days. Some have no patience. Exactly, and they can't wait. It's ridiculous. Brother-in-law is good, not giving up. Excellent. Excellent. Good to hear. Yeah, the age of entitlement. Whereas for me, I feel like COVID-19, if you've watched... I knew as soon as I started talking about him I'd forget his name. The English poet, or he might be Irish, that did the poem where he refers to it as the age of realisation, which I love, and how where we've come from wasn't actually that fucking good, but what we're being left with because of this is amazing. Nature continuing to bounce back. The majority of people, I like to think, are becoming better people because of it. Rewinding our lives, not being so stressed and under pressure all the time, appreciating the beauty in all the little things that we've always loved. We just forgot how important they were. And I was going to say, and that's just our families. No, I'm not talking about our families, but you know, just the things like we were talking about before, hot showers, hot coffees, all that sort of stuff. Oh my God, that water is fucking cold. Holy shit. If I had testicles, they would be in my mouth right now. Fuck. Okay, no swimming today, kiddos. I mean, it's like people complaining in the press conference that they still can't go to their shacks. Just the fact that they say, I want to go back to my shack. It's like, can you read what you just wrote? Do you not realise you are in a very small percentage of the global population that has the privilege of even owning a beach house or a shack. I want to go back to my shack. Yeah, you know what? I don't want you to come to your shack if you're not following the rules and you've been hanging around people that didn't know they had COVID-19 and you spread it like wildfire. Just wait a few more weeks and you can go to your fucking shack. I don't think they even realise how privileged it is to own a shack, to own any property. Here's Bazza. Hey, Bazza's shuffling. Check out Bazza shuffling, everyone. Let's get off all the people. I think I've talked about all of these people and what they say in comments so many times now, which is why I wanted to talk about international travel. But we covered that. But here's Bazza. Once again, washing his lady to get ready for Shazza. The Love Shack is where it's at. My sister's place is called the Love Shack. My place is the Beach Shack. Her place is on the beach too. Dr. Rob, hello. You're in Portland. It's just now getting warm enough to enjoy a dip. Good on you, mate. Nice to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. I'm pretty sure you used to come into my chat, Dr. Rob. Entitlement pushes your buttons. Me too, Kanga. Yeah, people, the seasons in the different hemispheres always freak people out. That bird dances. That bird, Bazza, look at him shuffling. So cute. Another mate of mine who's a comedian down here, Gavin Baskerville, he took footage of a seagull doing that shuffling and put it to the Everybody's Shuffling song. And it was only like a little 10-second video. But I've just fucking loved it. It was just, you know, just simple humour. Simple humour. Oh, there. Will's been staying home best as he can unless working in the morning. I love that you're back at work up tomorrow. It's going to be very traumatic. She's not good at the vets, although my new vet down here told me that when I asked them if she was the worst patient they've had, they said no, she's the second worst. So there's some cat that's worse than her, but I'm going to be with her. I just want her checked up because she her breathing, she's getting very like sort of breathing, not fast, but just making that noise. And I keep thinking maybe she's got a blocked nose, but I thought it might have been allergies, and I only use natural cleaning products, but I did use a tiny bit of a, you know, typical coat bloody self-ice. I went to the back of my cupboard and found a thing of Dettol or something, you know, that had a centimetre left in it, and I'm like, I'll just use that to clean. I can't even remember what it was that I had cleaned. But it even bothered me, like it even affected me because I'm a bit hypersensitive as well. So I was thinking, oh, it could be allergies. Then I thought it might have been dust. So, you know, I vacuum the house every week, but I don't mop it every week. But I thought, right, I'll give the house a full vacuum, full dust, full mop. She does seem to enjoy going out on the deck when it's, you know, fucking cold, and she comes back in and her breathing's worse. And also when I put fresh litter, I've noticed that she gets a little bit sneezy. So I think, you know, maybe she's got cat asthma or something, and maybe there's a medicine she's going to have to be put on. Or she might be perfectly fine. It may not be bothering her. But I don't want to make the call. So I'm going to let the vet tell me what's going on. Because apparently sort of breathing issues can also be signs of, you know, other conditions that cats get. And because she was so obese when she was surrendered the last time, and now she's half the size she was, but you know, it's possible that she's got some organ issues now, so yeah. How far is your beach walk usually, like distance-wise? Oh, someone did it one day. They calculated it, and I can't remember. Is it 2.6 kilometres maybe? I don't know. I can't remember Mercedes girl, but I mean, I'm walking and stopping and chatting and having swigs of my smoothie and stuff, but normally for me to walk, I come down off the track, I turn right, go to the end of the bluff, then go all the way down to the river and then back to the track. That's usually about an hour and 10 minutes, or an hour-ish. Dr. Rob, I'm a teacher and I've been spending a lot of time lecturing on Zoom. What have you been lecturing, Dr. Rob? You gave me a thumbs up. Thanks, Groover. Hope Biscuit's okay. Look, she seems fine. I just don't want to not have the vet look at her and see why this is going on. I mean, I've not had her for a winter before. She might just be a cat that has narrow nasal passages and gets congested in winter. I don't know. I've got a girlfriend who's a vet. And I asked her just casually the other day when we were chatting, and she was like, oh, just get it checked out because there's a few tests that they can do just to make sure it's nothing serious. But she wasn't alarmed about it. Hope she hasn't got the cat flu, or if she has had it previously, cats can have nasal issues. Cat scratch fever. Cats get asthma. Cat scratch fever's only from baby cats. So cute. The beach is 2 point. Thank you, Emily. Sociology professor. That's right. I remember you were something intelligent. I have told the story, Dr. Rob, on this channel before, and I'm quite happy to share it with everyone again because it still cracks me up big time. But I don't remember though if this is where we met Dr. Rob, but Dr. Rob and I both ended up one day in Analyzer's channel. This is like maybe a year ago. And I think actually, Dr. Rob, I think I may have met you on Laura's channel. This is such a long time ago. Anyway, there weren't many people live, and Analyzer was, and I can't remember what her channel name was at the time. I don't know, it was Pingu or something. Anyway, I went in there and it was Analyzer and her friend Glow, who I miss. Is Glow around still? Haven't seen Glow. I love Glow. I love Glow sitting up in bed, resting her lunch or dinner on her bosom and eating it. And I'm not paying her out. I love her. She's just got this sort of grandma kind of. I don't know if she's a grandma or not, but she's like a character from your favourite TV show. Like, I love her. She's great. Anywho, Rob and I were there. Was that how we met? Was it in Analyzers, Dr. Rob, or was it Oh, Lovable Rogue, you're going to love this story too. It's a ripper. Did we meet on Laura's, or did we meet... I think we met in Laura's. Glow is still around. Great accent. She does have a great accent. She does chair exercises and unboxings and makeup. Glow's Be Fit and Pretty, her channel's called. But I just think she's a sweetheart, you know, and I was kind of starting to withdraw from all of the channels that used to be true crime that turned into these loud, shouty... Oh my God, what is wrong with channels that every second word, you know, if they're having a discussion, it's bitch, bitch, you fucking bitch. Who speaks like that in real life? Is that how people communicate in real life? Because if there are people like that who communicate like that in real life, I've never met them. Listen here, bitch. Fucking take a seat, bitch. Like, what the fuck? Anyway. We initially met in Laura's. Yeah, I think we did too, Dr. Rob. Glow is still around. She's not talking to Analyzer. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I need to go and see what Glow's done lately, because she used to make me feel so good. And, yeah, I was withdrawing from all of the channels where I just can't handle all the bitch stuff. And this was mild back when I was weaning myself. Like, now, I have popped into a few of them just to see what's going on. And it's like, oh... There's all these new people popping up on panels that every second word is bitch, and I'm like, I can't listen to this. And talking over the top of each other, and oh, it's horrible. Anyway, so Dr. Rob and I met somewhere along the way. And then I think I went for a walk on the beach one day and Dr. Rob popped in. So I go into Analyzer's channel and there's Analyzer and Glow. And Dr. Rob was in there and had been in there for a bit longer than I'd been in there, because I scrolled up through chat. But Annalisa and Glow were very flirty, because I can't see your icon while I'm walking on the beach, but from memory Dr. Rob's quite smooth looking. And I think these two ladies were very excited that Dr. Rob had arrived. And from what I could read in the chat, it even sounded like they, they were flirting directly with him. Like it wasn't... Oh, sorry, I was going to say in the chat... Oh, that they were sort of almost competing for him. The two of them were like, ka-ching, who's this hot doctor? So, anyway, so he's in there, and I said g'day to him, and then he, for some reason, maybe Glow was eating some food or something, but Dr. Rob mentioned that he was eating a burrito. And I'm just reading chat. Some of the chat, they've just lost their way. Do you know what I'm talking about though? The bitch stuff. Like I don't mind admitting it, I went into Laura's maybe 3 days ago or 2 days ago, I don't know. There was a girl on panel that I had never heard of before, who's got a really, like her voice, she almost sounds like she's she almost sounds like, now I'm thinking exactly who it is. You know, in Grease, the movie Grease, the beauty school dropout, what's her name? Anywho, her voice sounds like this girl who I'd never heard of before. But she was calling, like she was dropping the bitch word, and she was very, very self-centered. It was all about her. And she was just doing the whole, Marsha, take that, you stanky old bitch. And I was like, what the fuck, who is this person? And then I heard Laura say, I think you're my new favourite person. And I was like, wow, how that channel has changed. That girl was young and ageist, and I didn't comment in there. I listened to it for, I reckon, 4 minutes, 5 minutes max, because there wasn't actually any conversation going on. It was just, they were just bitching about people that weren't even in the chat. But anyway. Annalisa, that's her name, I haven't heard for a long, long while. She was a special kind of messed up. Laura's too loud. Yeah, well, there's just this new shouty regime, and this young girl that was just saying the most ageist comments. Like, I was tempted to say, yeah, I used to be a dickhead in my 30s too, but suddenly you find yourself in your 50s and you realise what a dickhead you were in your 30s. Like, don't make fun of people's ages, because everyone gets old. But anyway, back to Dr. Rob. Dr. Rob, me, a handful of others, Annalisa and Glow, are all hanging out. Said g'day to Rob. And Dr. Rob, he said hello to me. And I think Glow might have been eating, and then Rob announced that he was eating a burrito. And because there was all this obvious flirting going on and a bit of competition between Glow and Annalisa for Dr. Rob's attention, I wrote in the chat, I bet you have a big burrito, Dr. Rob. And then I got blocked and called a pervert. That's my... It's my claim to fame on YouTube, is that Annalisa blocked me and called me a pervert for my sexual innuendo about Dr. Rob's big burrito. I didn't realise how feisty those ladies were, and, you know, I guess they saw me as a third wheel. A bit more competition for Dr. Rob's affections. But yeah. Bang. Blocked. It's my claim to fame. But you know what? To be blocked for being a pervert is in itself magnificent. But over that comment, I could have said something way worse to get the label pervert. Like my big burrito, I think I think it wasn't so much that they thought I was a pervert, because I bet they both thought he had a big fucking burrito too, the way they were flirting with him. They wouldn't have been flirting with him like that if they thought he had a champignon mushroom penis. Let's just be honest here. I think it was actually the fact that I was more competition. What do you think, Dr. Rob? Are you still with us? I'm almost 50 and feel as if I finally get it. Exactly. Exactly. I remember DD and Analyzer doing a collab back in 2008. They were swooning. DD. Who's DD? Delusion Dispeller. It was MGL. What have I missed? What have I missed? Hang on. It's like certain people are just out to get... What have I missed? Yeah, they're dragging and bitching stuff. I mean, seriously? Calling each other... calling themselves and each other drama channels. It's not drama. It's just blatant bitching. Like, again, the writers of Downton Abbey would debate and win very quickly about the definition of drama with those fuckers. It's not drama, it's just bitching. Don't call it something that's less negative. You can't polish a turd. You can roll it in glitter, that's true, but it's not drama. It's just out and out, straightforward bitching and gossiping. And the thing that's sad is those channels have 200, 300, 400 people watching it and loving it. And that says something is very wrong with the planet. Because I watch a channel that brings me so much joy and I love it so much, and there's rarely more than 2 or 3 people in there whenever I go in there. And they should be getting 200, 300, 400 people when they go live. But because they're nice and they're sharing something beautiful and they care about animals, not that many people want to watch that shit. Let's just sit and listen to people bitching about people for hours on end. What a great way to use our time. Holy fuck. Oh my god, the water is so cold. I feel like the drama or shouting is people are struggling for creative content. They know people will watch. Well, you know what? The people who watch, get a fucking life. Stop watching it and it'll stop. Oh, hang on, you don't want it to stop. Why do you not want it to stop? It's unbearable to listen to. It hurts my ears, it makes my brain bleed. And I also get frustrated because I just think, you people are wasting your lives. You may not be here tomorrow. Is this how you want to spend your last day? Watching people you will never meet? Bitch about people you will never meet? For half of the day or 3/4 of it? Is that really? What if you did drop dead? Are you going to, if there's a heaven, and I'm a bit of an atheist, but if there is a heaven, are you going to rock up to heaven and go, wow, I'm so glad that's how I spent my last day? Fuck me dead. And I'm talking about all of them, but I think the people who watch are just as bad as the creators, because if nobody watched them, they wouldn't do this shit. But think about what a change all of those people watching and all of those creators crapping on for hours. Think about what a change they could make to the planet if they spent 95% of that time volunteering, helping people in need. Like, to me, it's just tuning into those channels now is frustrating because it's just such a huge waste of a talent pool and potential manpower and woman power. I'm not being, don't call me out on that because I said manpower, it's just an expression, but they could all be doing something so positive. And I don't care if YouTubers go live for 6 hours and talk about things that stimulate me and make me think, not stimulate, don't go down the porn road, anyone, but make me want to think about things or listen to someone talking about something that they've got a direct experience with that I've never heard of before, so I can learn. You know, I've got no issue. If today was a shitty, cold, rainy day and I'm writing job applications, I probably would have someone on in the background who's postulating theories and encouraging me to think differently. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I think they're doing something worthwhile on that platform. But what about all these other fuckers? Just think about what they could be doing for the planet that would be making such a huge difference. It's just such a waste of fucking time. Is everyone heading... Oh, thumbs up, guys. Thanks, Groover. See you, lovable rogue. Sweet dreams, beautiful. It's after 8. Yeah, I hope to see you again, Dr. Rob. Thanks for coming for the stroll. How can they have so much hate for someone they've never met in real life? They have to be miserable. I agree, Mercedes girl. I mean, you probably already know because you and I have known each other for a long time, but you know, the only thing I actually hate is the word hate. But these people do actually hate each other. And yeah, they've never met him. It's that old thing, you know, you're watching a TV show and you don't like it, change the fucking channel. Song comes on the radio, don't like it, change the channel. What is the fascination? But what's the fascination with people writing really nasty emails and comments under people's videos and sending creators really nasty emails? Like, what's with those people? You know, I basically, if there's a channel I don't like, you know how I handle it? I don't watch their shit. I don't support them. I don't give them money for views. I unsubscribe and rarely think about them ever again. Sometimes channels that you've been subscribed to and you've unsubscribed, they pop up in your recommendations. That's how I saw Laura was live the other... I don't know if no, she was live. But I just couldn't even handle having the noise in my house. And biscuits are really good. Biscuits really... And to be honest, to be fair, Laura didn't actually say much at all except for saying she thought this chick was her new favourite. But I couldn't handle listening to that chick. I can't remember her name. Marsha, you old bitch. Fuck you, you mean nothing to me. Well then stop bitching about it for the last fuck knows how many hours they've been bitching and how many more they went on. If they mean nothing to you, then don't give them a minute's breath. But yeah, what's with the people that feel like, oh, I'm going to write something really scathing and angry and nasty on their page, that'll show them. What just makes people look like fuckwits? Oh, you know, I'm angry, so I'm going to fucking project all of my anger onto that person who's just opening up their life for me to participate in if I choose to. But if I don't want to, then I'll just move on. No, I'm an angry person. I'm going to project all of my anger onto that person. And I hope every nasty thing I write about them hurts them. What? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Some of those creators must just get blasted with hate mail every day. Look, kudos to them. Kudos to them for getting up every day and still going live, even though they get mounted. I mean, I've been so lucky. But that's why having a small channel's great, because not that many people know it exists. I think the bigger you get, the more attacked you get. Lady Pegasus, to think it was one person that brought us to YouTube. Yeah, I'm not talking about that asshole. Hallelujah. The water is so cold. Yeah, it's nothing like it was. Well, I don't know, Lady Pegasus. I'm so optimistic. I think that there's so many cool things that could happen and might happen. It is a schoolyard bullying mentality, Angela. It has changed. Hate is a very strong word. Was it Hello Starlight? Hello Starlight. Trolls, who needs them? Well, see, I like them if they're funny. And there's occasionally you see a really funny troll that makes you laugh and you're like, I've had some ripper trolls. I quite like it if I am watching someone and there's a troll that's hilarious. But then, depending on who the creator is or who the mods are, sometimes those trolls get blocked. Hello Starlight. She wouldn't have been on Laura's panel. I don't think they're friends. Or are they again? I don't know. I doubt it. Is that what you mean? Are you asking if it was Hello Starlight on Laura's panel? Nah. I bet my left tit. Although Laura had Science Girl on her panel. I saw that on a little, I don't know if it was Wendy V or DD Dugan. Someone did, you know, the little channels that do the little short versions of stuff. I do check in on them every now and not often, because a lot of the stuff they talk about I don't actually watch or know who they're talking about. But I'm pretty sure Science Girl and Laura were on panel. That wouldn't have happened back when I was still watching them. No way. But no, it definitely was. I know Hello Starlight. It definitely wasn't Hello Starlight on Laura's. No way. No way. I nearly dropped my sneaker in the oceans. There's a lot of people just up here. No, who was this girl? Her name was common because she was saying that there's several people on YouTube with the same name and that Marsha ripped her to shreds, but she'd actually got the wrong person. And I'm sure there was somebody else on the panel too, but I can't remember who. This is the thing. Like, if you asked me a year ago, I would have been able to say, yeah, on Tuesday, so-and-so had so-and-so on their panel, but I really honestly don't have a clue. Who's Laura buddies with now? I don't know. But no, it definitely wasn't. I mean, Hello Starlight was one of my very first subscribers. Way back. And the last time she came on my channel was last year when I brought everyone down here because there was a whale swimming out here. It definitely wasn't Hello Starlight. Yeah, two dicks touching together was one of the funniest trolls ever. I would love it if he or she returned. That night was so funny. She just fitted the description. Was it Mandy? You forgot about two dicks, Kangaroo. How could you? The greatest troll of all time. Two dicks touching together. And then remember Josh B changed his name to Two Dicks, and he'd be in, like, he went into, as soon as he changed his name, he went to like a J's for Justice live, and then he went to an Oni live, and wherever else he was a mod, and all of these people were going, how the fuck have I got a mod called Two Dicks? Who is it? That was fun. They were the good old days. Was it Mandy? No, I know Mandy too. Mercedes girl. I was a girl named Jules. Yes. Jules, that's it. Marsha had blocked her and wouldn't let her explain. She accused the wrong person, so she went on Laura's panel. Right, okay. Well, that girl, don't get me wrong, she might be lovely, but I couldn't listen to her. Because there were three of them. Laura must have been off feeding the kids or doing something because she barely spoke. But at one point it was sort of like three separate monologues all happening over the top of each other, and this girl just didn't stop. Didn't stop talking about herself. You know, like, I think Laura might have butted in and said, hey, I just got this email, or I just saw this screenshot or something, and this other chick would just keep talking about herself. There was no Don't get me wrong, she might be lovely. She might be lovely. I just tuned in at a point where there was a lot of Marsha. I hate all of that Laura stuff. I don't speak like that ever about anyone I've ever known in my life. Have any of you? Who does that extended name thing? Mandy. You know, like, what the fuck? She might be a lovely girl. It just was... There was just a lot of calling other women bitches. A lot. Like every third word. And it's like, how can you... I mean, I remember months ago watching, I hate to admit it, a resolution night on Diane's channel. They're not really my people, but for whatever reason I put that on because there must have been someone on the resolutions, one of the people that was into the resolution on panel. I was interested in them. But the whole point of that show is like, you know, let's get it all out, shake hands, move on. Is that not what a resolution night should be? But instead, again, it was just 2 or 3, or I don't know how many people just yelling at each other and calling each other bitches. Speak bogan. You want me to? I can do that. Okay. Speak like a fucking bogan if you fucking want me to. There's people too close. Hang on. And one of them's elderly and I don't want her to hear me. Because when I speak like a bogan, I'm loud. But yeah, it just, well, they spoke like bogans. See you next Tuesday is another word thrown around a lot too. It is, and look, I'm a fan of that word. I just like it. I don't define it as a female vagina for starters, but I'd never use it in hate. But you're right. But yeah, this resolution night, it was just a shitload of yelling, name calling, and talking over the top of each other. There wasn't any resolution. The only resolution to come out of that was I'm never watching that channel or any of the people on that panel ever again. How about meeting them and letting each of them have their say? And have you noticed too, it's often the person who gets talked over the most and cut off the most that is told to let the other side speak. Have you noticed that? Like, if you're going to mediate a resolution night or a debate, pay attention to who is actually making the most noise and who is talking over the top. Because I found that's something that used to make watching that shit really unbearable for me. Is that one person would be really trying to respond. The other person would just keep cutting them off, speaking over the top of them, calling them everything under the sun. And it would be the other person that would be told, let her speak. Did anyone notice that, or is that just me being way too critical and having way too high standards for people on YouTube? Yeah, a lot of people do not like that word, and I get that. But if one of my really close friends was walking towards me right now on the beach and came close to me, I'd be like, g'day, come. I would. Because it makes me smile. But I think it's how you use it. When I first started doing stand-up comedy, I said that on stage during a final of Raw Comedy, and I wasn't allowed to win it. I mean, not that I would have had a chance. I was very wet behind the ears. It was my first stand-up performance ever. But because of that, I started to be known around the Adelaide comedy scene as Cunt Girl. So, I don't know. I have an affection for it. But I would never call anyone that in a derogatory fashion. Although, back when she was alive, my grandmother did like being called that for some weird reason. But, you know, I'm just joking. I'm actually quoting a Louis C.K. joke just then too. Yeah, I like it. But it's a word, you know. If someone called me that in a comical, fun way, I would not take offence. It's how you interpret it. And I remember years ago, you know, the whole sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Names do hurt people until you learn to deconstruct them and just see them as that particular word, just 4 letters in a row that have absolutely no power. You give them power when they're put together in that word. It's your call. So, but don't get me wrong, I've seen people use it on YouTube in a really vicious way, and it is horrible. And yes, it cuts through you like a knife. It's so unbearably rude. Yeah, the drama is just stupid. But again, I don't even think it's drama. I just think it's gossiping and bitching. The shouting match, I know. And also the number of people that listen, just sit there listening to it. How can you even listen to it? My voice gets so high-pitched and whiny. So, unsubbed a lot of channels. Yeah, friendly's good, I agree, Kanga. How they'd react if they came face-to-face with each other in real life. Well, I think the majority of them would... be very different. Yeah, the water is beautiful, and yes, that puppy is having an absolute ball. Because I'm walking into the sun, I don't have sunnies on, it's hard to read the screen. So whenever I pan out to the ocean, it's me reading chat. But that puppy is having the time of his or her life. His life. He's very cute. But like I was saying earlier up the beach, before I got sidetracked about mentioning Dr. Rob's big burrito and getting blocked on Analyzer channel, my YouTube claim to fame. The people that watch it are just as bad as the people doing it. Because if someone went live to have a big fat bitch about someone on YouTube they don't like, and nobody watched them, at some point they would realise, oh, because of this kid's voice, and I looked up to the cliff, but because there was not a cliff, but the sand dunes, because the sun's on my face, I couldn't see. There's this little gorgeous little, like, I don't know, maybe 3-year-old with super curly hair. But yeah, I think the people that watch it and super chat during it, and they're just as bad. What's wrong with them? Get off your computer. Or stay on your computer, but do something voluntary for someone. Volunteer. There's so much online volunteering, guys. I mean, I record for a radio show from my living room. You know, all I had to have was the capacity to... Like, I mean, I already had my podcast, so I'd already set myself up, but I don't even need a microphone to do it. And I do 2.5 days a week doing that as a volunteer. It's much better time spent. Every time I sign off on that show, when I finish editing it and submit it, like, knowing that I'm giving the visually impaired members of our community a half-an-hour show on body, mind and soul kind of stuff. It's all feel-goody, mindfulnessy, lovely, lush, beautiful food stuff. Like, I love finding the articles each week, and yeah, it takes up a huge chunk of my time, but it's so rewarding. Even if these fuckers did something like that for an hour or 2 hours a week, if they just gave up the YouTube, I mean, personally I think they should give it all up, but you know, I can't control anyone else and what they're doing. But even if, you know, 5% of that time they put towards volunteering, doing something for a charity, helping other people. I don't believe we come back. Maybe they're all really they have strong senses of faith, and they feel like if they waste this life it doesn't matter because there will be another one. But see, the thing is, I don't know, and I don't trust. I'm not living this life in the off chance this is a rehearsal. Yeah, all the hatred is disgusting. So I'm nearly at my track. There's a guy walking towards me who's actually reminded me of one thing I did want to ask some people about, just till I get to my little post, and then we'll have another look at the beautiful beach and we'll say goodbye. It's funny how we always end up talking about YouTube creators. I feel like I'm starting to sound like a broken record too, because it's really, what else is there to say? It's crap. They're crap. Move on. Okay. I started watching on the weekend, and I know that I'm a bit slow getting to it. I started watching The Fall on Netflix because I'd had so many people, oh, you've got to watch it, you know, Gillian Anderson, blah, blah, blah. So I finally decided to watch it. Now, I'm a criminal lawyer. Well, I was. I'm not any kind of lawyer right this minute, but I was a criminal lawyer for a decade. I acted for some pretty shifty people. Clearly, I love true crime because that's how we all met, or nearly all of us. I've been to some pretty graphic murder scenes. I've seen some pretty shitty, horrible, in fact, photos from crime scenes. I've represented some pretty interesting people. Love true crime. Have a true crime comedy-based podcast. This show is fucking with my head. It's... not many shows do. And when they do, I usually kind of like them. Like, I loved The Handmaid's Tale because of how physically unwell that show made me feel watching it. I'd never watched a show before that... oh, everyone's leaving. I just want to know if anyone's watched The Fall. But take care, Serenity Bee. Hope your pork turns out well, dolls. Yeah, I mean, I actually loved the fact that The Handmaid's Tale made me feel physically unwell. Like, I loved that it was so well written and so well acted that it had that kind of effect, like a physical effect, not just an emotional one. And if none of you guys have... you've prosecuted... I did go to the dark side. I did. In your eyes. I never saw prosecutors as the dark side, but my dad was a QC and he used to go into court and say to one of the prosecutors, who's now a magistrate, he used to walk in and he'd say, well, actually one of them ended up being the, oh, fuck, what's the word? It keeps popping in out of my head, but you know, like the main solicitor in the prosecutor, like not the DPP, but the chief solicitor, is it? I don't know, the terminology, I practice law in Adelaide, the terminology in Tassie where I grew up is different, but the most senior solicitor from the prosecution, whatever his name is, or her name, but not the DPP. Anyway, it's irrelevant. But he used to walk in and he'd be in there with his junior counsel, and Dad would walk in and go, aha, the Prince of Darkness and Tinkerbell. And the jury, just loud enough so the jury would hear it. Oh, Angela, no, I don't know if you should see it. Kanga hasn't seen it, Angela hasn't seen it. Praise be unto his high lady Pegasus. So anyway, I started watching The Fall, and it's got Jamie Dornan, who I haven't watched 50 Shades of Grey because I refused to watch a movie based on a book that I haven't read because I was told how badly written it was, and also it led to the sexual revolution of some of my middle-aged female friends who were way too keen to talk about how they discovered great sex finally in their late 40s, early 50s. I was like, I just don't really need this right now. I don't need to picture them buying crops, you know, all that sort of shit. Anyway, so I haven't actually seen any work of Jamie Dornan before and had no idea that he was a Northern Irish, like he's an actor from Northern Ireland, so he's got that gorgeous accent. Anyway, I'm not going to give it away, but it is a really nasty serial killer show. And I'm at a point where I'm deciding whether or not to continue with it because I actually Googled. I Googled last night to see if I could find a discussion forum where people were also having the same kind of reaction to it that I was, because it has scared the crap out of me. And not that I feel like I'm potentially going to end up being the victim of a serial killer or anything like that, but there's just something I can't put my finger on about it that makes me feel very uneasy. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because The Handmaid's Tale made me feel really unwell, but I loved it for that. I mean, I didn't love feeling unwell, but I loved the show was that powerful. So I'm open to shows actually impacting me and affecting me. But Gillian Anderson, her character in it is cold as ice, and there's aspects to it already that I'm questioning, because it's earmarking incompetence in the police department, and also there's just all sorts of, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of incompetent police departments, but the actual premise behind the show, that this specialist cop had to be flown up from England to help the team in Belfast sort of work out who this murderer is, it just seemed a bit patronising. I think their police force could be quite competent at solving crimes personally. I think Northern Ireland crime, a bit of experience there, but whatever. So there's a few flaws in it as well. But, and it is graphic, because you do see the murderer murdering people. But I've watched a lot of shit that's way, way worse, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I've become ISO cheery and everything in my world has been... Is it American? No, it's senior Crown prosecutor. That's the word, kangaroo blue. That's what they're called here too. I'm pretty sure when I was in South Australia, there's basically the DPP and that's it. But you don't have Netflix, well then you won't even have to worry about it. You haven't heard of it, like kangaroo blue. Is it American? No, it's Irish. Or English maybe. I mean, Gillian Anderson plays an English cop, and people go, wow, she's so good at doing an English accent. She actually lived in England until she was 11. But weirdly, I found this forum, and apparently when she was giving interviews when this show came out, if she gave interviews in the UK, she did the interviews with an English accent, and if she did interviews with US networks, she did an American accent. That's kind of kooky. But anyway, yeah, very cringy. But Jamie Dornan is a very beautiful man. There's no doubt about it. First thing of his that I'd seen, even though his character is not particularly savoury. But anyway, it's freaking me out. And like, as in a little nightmaresy kind of way. And also in a premise way, like the premise is annoying me. And then I was reading the forums. I don't normally read stuff before I've watched a show, but with this show I was like, I want to make an educated decision whether to keep watching it or not. But some of the comments in these forums were really interesting, and from what I could gather, they've got this amazing expert on the job and all the cops are onto it. And apparently there's an episode I haven't even got to yet, but there's a photo of him going around and it looks exactly like him, and his wife doesn't wake up to the fact. And there's another character who kind of thinks that it could be him, but she's getting off on it and ends up having like this full-on bondage-based fling with him. But then people were starting to say, yeah, in season 2, there's just no way this person in modern times wouldn't have been caught yet. They're sort of comparing it to Jack the Ripper and saying how, while he was murdering essentially women that were isolated because of the very nature of their occupation, like the sex workers, the prostitutes that Jack the Ripper murdered, it was only when he started moving into sort of more mainstream English households that he got caught. I was more of a Fox Mulder girl with the X-Files, but I did love their chemistry for sure. They were amazing. No, it's not based on reality. No, God, no. I mean, if it is, then it's exposing the absolute ineptitude of the Northern Ireland police force and the specialist from the police Scotland Yard or whatever in England. What's irritating me about it is that I'm too much of a true crime buff, and it's like there's no way he wouldn't have been caught yet. And then I was reading the forums, and from what I could tell, he's still out and about and killing in the second season. And while I've been watching it, I think I've only watched 3 episodes, but while I've been watching it, I've been thinking, surely this guy's going to get caught before the end of this season. And I knew there were more when you go into Netflix, you can see how many seasons there've been. So I just assumed maybe they had a different murderer for each season. But then I read that, yeah, he's still out and about and doing it in the 2nd season. So I don't know. It's kind of, it's irritating me factually, but it's also giving me really creepy nightmares. Little ones. Lots of buffers. It's a lot of buffers. This beach isn't, like, in winter, the whole beach is open for the dogs. In summer, they do close off from where I'm about to head up. Mindhunter. I haven't seen that. But I think I've been really gentle on myself in ISO with what I've watched. I've wanted, because I get so fascinated about pandemics, which is weird, I know, but I do. I wrote a brilliant school project on Spanish flu. I get gripped by mass death kind of stories, weirdly, but and not in a woohoo mass death kind of way, like in a this is fascinating and I need to know more kind of way. But yeah, it's not so much the fact that it's a bit mind-blowingly ridiculous to be a true crime story. But I think Gillian Anderson, because she's so cold and meant to be, and the actual murder scenes are very, very graphic. I don't know. I've seen worse, and I don't remember it affecting me. I think it's because I've basically been using TV or Netflix, that's all I've got, as a way of escapism after I've spent, you know, a bit of time researching COVID-19 and listening to press conferences and watching scientists and doctors talking about it. I've kind of resorted, when it's been Netflix time, to cheery stuff. Because the other show that I love too is Dead to Me, and that got too full on. I had to stop watching it. Mindhunter's based on the beginnings and origins of the FBI profiler. I think I started... Hang on a second, so this guy go past. Is Mindhunter, is the main character female and her character name is Victoria, or is that another show I'm confusing it with? Because I did watch a show that I loved, and I should go back to that maybe. Oh, thank you, Angela. That means the world to me, honestly. You have no idea. That really does mean the world to me. Thank you. Although I feel like I spend a lot of time on the beach bitching about YouTube creators I don't even watch anymore. I think maybe, is it because it's just how we all met? Is that sort of like, is that why it pops up all the time? At least we don't talk about that fuckwit that brought us all together much anymore. I mean, he's still going to pop up every now and then, but... I'm just going to wait and see if Kanga Blue says what Mindhunter, I don't know, maybe it's not that. But yeah, I think I need to just go back to watching fluffy, happy stuff when I watch Netflix, because yeah, even Dead to Me, which is kind of really black comedy, I know what it is. I've just worked out what it is. It's the suspense aspect. I just don't want suspense right now. It's made me realise that, you know, my body, I'm kind of in, maybe we're all in fight or flight mode a bit because of, you know, like a very passive form of anxiety, because we're all self-isolating, and it's not because we're scared we're going to get COVID and die, even though there will be people out there that are. But I think, you know, that it would be only natural for everyone to have a little bit of anxiety going on, even if it's kind of passive. Thanks, Lady Pegasus. That means a lot too. I think it's the suspense bit. I think that we're all doing pretty okay in self-iso, and we're all pottering around, and we're all doing more baking and cooking than usual, and doing puzzles and a lot of mindfulness stuff. But I think if we weren't doing all of those things, we'd probably be patently aware of how anxious we might actually be. I don't know. That's my guess, is it's to do with suspense. I just don't need shocks at the moment. We've got a real life shocker happening, you know. Anyway, on that note, Groovers, I'm going to head up the hill. I've got some job applications and things to write. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. You can't recall Victoria. It's been a year since you've watched it. Was she female though? And is it like a Norwegian TV series, Swedish, something like that? The psychologist is Wendy. I think I'm confusing it with another show entirely, so ignore me. But yeah, so I think it's suspense, full stop. So I'm just going to go back to watching the cheesy baking, cooking shows. And if any of you were watching The Fall, I was going to say, can we be like correspondents and share with each other how it's affecting us? But I don't really want to have another different show. I'll check it out though. But I think I've made my decision. I think I'm just going to leave it, because I've had, since I started watching it on Saturday, maybe it was, I've had a couple of restless nights sleep. Thanks everyone, you stay safe too. Thanks for joining me. As here I am in a Tasmanian winter, walking along the beach with my Dax rolled up to my knees and a t-shirt on. I am still wearing my beanie as well, but not bad, right? But yeah, I'm going to go and write these applications that are seriously like writing a thesis for a PhD, but interesting as well. Very different to back in the early 90s when I applied for jobs. Very different. Take care everyone though. Be gentle on yourself. Don't watch any suspense. Or if you do love that sort of stuff and it's not affecting you, keep watching it. But I'm going to make some keto bread on my channel soon. So if you want to tune in and watch me do that, that would be cool. And there'll be another Ruby Princess episode too, because that ship has sailed, but it just won't go away. So on that note, lovely people, take care everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. Love you so much, Groovers. See you soon. Bye.